Hi, everyone. Welcome to your Week 28 Modern World launch, and we are finishing up the unit on the Industrial Revolution. So again, to point out, you should be following along with that little blue line because it's going as every day passes, it moves a little bit to the right. You should try to get as close as you can to that blue line to stay on pace. For those of you who are behind, I do want to point out that you should try to that's another one. But forget about the additional focus areas. Those are for extra credit. So if you are somebody who's in a place right now to actually, that you're on pace or within reach, then you might want to do the additional focus areas. That's how you're going to get your A+. But if you're not somebody who is really close to on pace and you have a lot of red like this person here, I would just forget all about those additional focus areas, focus only on the projects and the power focus areas. And if you are somebody who has some red things like this and you're a couple projects behind, please just start with the one we're on so that these launches make more sense to you. If you're in the moment, whenever you're listening to these launches and you're actually working on that project, they're a lot more meaningful. So I encourage you to just pick up with the Industrial Revolution. If you haven't started it yet, I believe in week 22, you could go back and look at those old launches. That's when we first start to discuss it. But you could at least start to get closer to on pace and just watch with us. Remember that you need to be asking for help. We do not know what's wrong until you tell us. We get worried, we reach out if we haven't heard from you in weeks or months, and it's important that you guys get in touch with us to let us know how everything's going. So there's a lot of ways here to get in touch with me as well as your other instructors. But again, pointing out that CPDLF help desk chat available for you in the evenings. So instead of messaging your learning guide or something like that in the evening when they're home, you can go ahead and message the help desk chat. And it's typically one of our live teachers right there on the other end that's just as able to help you. All right, so we are finishing up the Industrial Revolution, and I wanted to kind of do something a little different today. And kind of make it relevant to you guys. So do you know that the world is currently experiencing the fourth Industrial Revolution? So when you think we're talking about the Industrial Revolution, you think it happened once, but world economists and historians actually say that we are in the fourth. So the first one being whenever water and steam power came and replaced all human and animal power with machines. The second Industrial Revolution is when we had electricity for the first time. Internal combustion engines, airplanes, telephones, cars, radios, and mass production. The third Industrial Revolution is where things became automated. So we had electronics, the internet, and then we also automated the process of mass production. And we're currently at the threshold of the fourth Industrial Revolution with what they're calling cyber physical systems. So that's driverless cars, smart robots, materials that are lighter and tougher, and a manufacturing process built around 3D printing. So you're actually living through an Industrial Revolution, and I think that's pretty cool. So I want to just take a minute and look at the facts. So according to the World Economic Forum report, automation, artificial intelligence, and robots are going to take away 5 million jobs by 2020. That's in 2 years. 47% of United States jobs are at risk for being lost to robots, automation, artificial intelligence. And according to a 2016 report to Congress, White House economists predict that there's an 83% chance that workers earning less than $20 per hour will lose their jobs to robots. So I'm not saying this to scare you guys. It's just kind of where we are in this whole process in the world of the fourth Industrial Revolution. Things are being more automated. So you really have to look at some of these examples of what's happening out there. So the top left is a video. Domino's is testing self-driving cars. So things that were kind of safe bets for jobs for people to have, working fast food, cashiers, pizza delivery, and they're not the most ideal job that people dream to be, but at least you could fall back on that. And it's not going to be that way because they're actually testing driverless cars for pizza delivery. The bottom left corner, they're doing driverless tractor trailer driving. That is one of the richest jobs that people have that either don't have a degree or have minimal schooling, but they can fall back and still make a good amount of money truck driving. And that might not be an option too long. Amazon, the other video in the bottom right, they say that a typical Amazon package touches human hands less than 1 minute. You can see they look like little Roombas that kind of carry around all these blocks. They know exactly where all their inventory is, and then a human will just basically box it and make sure it's correct. McDonald's they're looking a lot more like Sheets with that order and pay here, the automated system. Amazon Go in the middle, they're stores that they've rolled out in bigger cities that taking away cashiers. There's no lines, there's no checkout. So they have a couple employees, but it's not somebody who's there bagging your stuff and checking you out. You just kind of walk out the door with your things. So the reason I'm saying all this is because we have to find a way to beat the robots. And the way we beat the robots is by simply being human. I like this quote by Elbert Hubbard. He says, "One machine can do the work of 50 ordinary men. No machine can do the work of one extraordinary man." I think it's important to remember that we have a lot of abilities that robots do not have, such as common sense, emotions, empathy, creativity, grit, perseverance, resilience, problem solving. And the reason I say this is because a lot of times these are what we're pushing for in the Summit Learning Platform too. Those abilities to think outside the box, be resilient, not give up. When you don't get it right the first time, think of how you can make it better. It's not just going to be facts anymore, because the robots are going to do that for you. We can't just teach you dates and numbers and facts and call it an education. The robots will do that. We have to teach you guys the other things, the cognitive skills. To get into a little bit of something that will help you with your checkpoint. So this project requires you to create a research question, and then to kind of outline how you would find some evidence to support that. I think some of you are struggling with the research question, just kind of knowing what that entails. A research question can't be too broad. It also can't be too narrow. And it can't really be a question that can be just simply Googled with a yes or no answer. So the column on the left is one. These are questions that are just not very good research questions. So for example, what is the childhood obesity rate in Altoona, PA? That's not a research question because I can just Google that and find an answer right away. It requires no testing, no research. It's just a simple click of a button. A better way to word that in the right column would be, how does the education level of the parents impact childhood obesity rates in Altoona, PA? So that takes it a step further, and that's something that can't just be Googled. You'd have to actually look into some things and do some research. Another example on the left, what are the effects of childhood obesity in the United States? That's way too broad of a concept, so you have to narrow that down a little bit. So on the right, it would say, how does childhood obesity correlate with academic performance in elementary school children? And then the final one, how much time do young children spend doing physical activity per day? Again, that's not a research question because it's kind of objective. It'd be kind of difficult to research, and it's pretty broad. So you want to narrow that down. The one on the right, what is the relationship between physical activity levels and childhood obesity? So hopefully this helps kind of seeing it played out, how to create those research questions. If you guys need any help at all and you're struggling, please reach out. I know some of you are, and you just keep submitting the same things over and over again. And that's fine, you're welcome to do so, but I'm just being blunt with you that you cannot get a passing score if your first checkpoint of creating the research question is done incorrectly. So again, reach out if you'd like some help with that. Week 28 runs March 7th through March 13th. You should be looking to master the Industrial Revolution focus areas, so there are 2 of those. Submitting checkpoint 4 and the final product of the Industrial Revolution project. It's not due until March 20th, but that will be here in 2 weeks, so that'll be here before you know it. If you have done all of this, I challenge you to complete the responses to the Industrial Revolution focus area, and I think there's another called Inventions and Inventors or something like that. So those are all extra credit ones that I challenge you to do. Okay, I hope you guys have a good week, and please reach out for help.